Today, I'm going to be talking about 6 tips you don't really hear anybody ever talk of in Black Ops 6. I never hear anyone speaking of these things. I never hear anything like that at all. And I'm also going to be going to some settings that are going to kind of contradict everything you've ever been told about certain settings as well. Now, I'm going to go into these. I'm going to explain everything so you guys can understand as well. And hopefully you guys can be better players after this. Now, there's a few things you need to know when playing Black Ops 6. There are no win situations. You're going to get into some gunfights that you have no chance of winning. It's already predetermined before you even get into the gunfight, and that's because you're probably putting yourself into those positions. And let's talk about the first one, the middle of the map. All right, this is not a good spot to be. This is a no-win situation. People have definitely spoken about this. You've definitely heard this tip 1,000 times, but I'm just going to give you guys a couple of examples here. This part right here, if you're here in the map, or let's say a lot of people think this is a really good spot for some reason, if you're here, enemies could look at you here, they could look at you here, they could look at you from here, they could come out here, look at you as well, and some of them, if they're flanking, they could get you from all this. You're in a no-win situation. You might win 1 or 2 gunfights, but it's predetermined you're going to die if you're in this area of the map. Now, that's not only it as well, you're also on the low ground. You do not want to be on the low ground unless you're trying to do a flank route or something like that, and the reason for that is if an enemy has a height advantage on you, you're only going to see their little head in there. They're going to see your entire body out here. That's not worth it, all right? And another thing is, if you're alone on one side of the map, let's say I'm running on this side, I'm right here, I have no teammates here, I have none of my teammates anywhere, but I might have a few there, I might have a few over there or whatever. It all depends, right? Well, now that I'm alone here, if I'm looking at the kill feed and I don't see any of my teammates dying, well, chances are enemies are going to start popping out of here, enemies are going to start coming out of here. I'm just, again, in a no-win situation. You don't want to put yourself into these situations, right? Now, I'm not saying don't ever run to this side of the map. Obviously, you could do it, you could try it, but your chances of dying are definitely a lot higher. Now, I never tried to go in here, so give me a second, guys. I didn't know that was possible. All right, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is motion blur, and I'm about to contradict everything you've ever heard and everything I've ever told you guys as well. All right, so we're going to go into the settings, we're going to go into graphic settings, we're going to go into view, and then we're going to go to world motion blur. We're going to keep this off. You don't want this on. It's actually really ugly. Don't turn it on. But weapon motion blur, you're going to want to turn on. And the reason for that is as I'm moving around the map here, as I'm running out, my gun is now out of focus. And if you guys know how cameras work, if you guys know how focus works, when it's out of focus, your brain pays less attention to that and it doesn't really focus on the weapon on screen. So with that being out of focus, your brain could kind of forget that it's there and you'll be focusing more on where your actual center dot is pointed than your gun. If your gun was in focus the whole time, the way it is right now, it's kind of detailed. It kind of looks weird, right? It doesn't look good. If you're running around and it's super detail like that, it's going to be kind of hard to focus on what's ahead of it. But if it's blurry the way it is right now, you guys could see it's completely out of focus and you could just play the game a lot better as well. Now, another thing in the settings that I want to talk to you guys about, and again, it's in the graphic settings, is to actually play on an ADS field of view of independent, all right? And not only play on independent, actually lower your field of view as well. If you're playing on a 120 FOV and then you're playing on affected, if I'm trying to shoot someone behind here, he's going to be a really tiny target, okay? It's going to be really hard to hit this dude. I'm not going to see him that well. It's going to be hard to stay on him with my actual sights and stuff as I'm shooting, as I'm trying to control recoil, as I'm trying to do whatever. It's going to be really hard to stay on that dude. But if you actually go into your settings and go to graphics, like I said, put your field of view down. I like 107. It's kind of solid. It's a nice number. It's a weird number, but it's kind of solid. And then instead of affected, go to independent. Now when I ADS at this dude, not only can I see him clear as day when I'm not ADS, but when I ADS, it's going to zoom that in so much. I'm going to show you guys the difference here, right? Look how much it shows right there. Look how zoomed in it is. And then if I go ahead back to my graphics, set it to affected, it's really hard. It's too much is in my sights right now. You guys can see a lot of this. The outside of this little thing right here is also in my sight. But once I actually go back, and I always recommend independence, it brings everything in. It zooms everything in. So if somebody's in a head glitch in a window, they're going to be a lot harder to hit there. Now, not only that, there's more stuff in the settings, right? There's a lot more stuff in the settings, actually. And one of them is in the... Yeah, it's in the view. No, it's not. Give me a second, guys. There we go. It's in the controller settings. And a lot of people, they go to their dead zones and they'll lower the left stick to 0 and they'll put the right stick up to 100. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this again, I made a whole video on this. You want to have that right stick up at 10. And the reason for that, and you guys can watch my video on it, is that it actually makes your aim assist feel a lot stickier. It'll actually stick onto the enemy a lot easier, and just a lot nicer, right? So make sure that you guys put that up to 110. If you have it down to 0, the second you even just touch that right joystick of yours, it's going to bounce all over the place. The aim assist is not going to stick. It doesn't even feel like it's sticking, and that's why you might be taking some shots sometimes, and you might be missing them, and it just feels weird, and you feel like you have no aim assist or anything like that. It's because of that right stick dead zone being down at 0, down at 2, down at whatever. I don't recommend going anywhere below 5 on that. And the reason for it, again, it's just because you want to be more accurate. You want the game to work more in your favor, and it's going to stick in your favor. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that as well. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is the rear view mirror rule. And this one's a little weird. This one, if you don't drive a car, you don't really understand how that works. But if you ever sat in a car, you kind of understand that there's a mirror that looks all the way in the back window, and you should be looking in that mirror every 5 to 10 seconds. So basically, in COD, you want to use the minimap as that rear view mirror, and it's going to show you guys, like, when you actually look in that minimap every 5 to 8 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, whatever it is, you want to look at it all those times, and you just want to spend a split second looking at it. You don't want to focus on that minimap. There's a lot of times where I'm playing this game, I'm looking at the minimap, and my eyes are glued to the minimap, and then there's an enemy in front of me, and by the time I ADS and shoot at him, it's a little too late because I didn't see him fast enough. I didn't register him fast enough. So I always recommend just look at the minimap and look at it for like less than a second if you can. Just give it a look. Your brain is very fast at processing information. So I wouldn't worry about that, guys. If you look there, you're going to see the red dots. Within a split second, you're already going to know where the enemies are. So don't worry about that at all. And not only that, you also want to look at the kill feed. Now, you don't want to look at the kill feed as often as the minimap, but you do want to look at the kill feed every so often. And the reason for that is if I'm watching the kill feed and I see that I have a bunch of teammates right here in this building and a lot of enemies are dying, but nobody's shooting across, well, I know the enemies are behind me. So if they're all dead and they're all in this area and they're all dead now, but my whole team is still back here, well, now I know that the enemies are spawning this way. So I better get myself to cover. Like I said, don't go here, but it's my only option right now, right? I'm out here, the enemies are there. You could even push a little bit if you want, and always do a nice little push. Never go right through the door. The enemies are going to know that. But do a little push. Just sit there, chill, wait for the enemies. They're going to be spawning down there, and then you can just pick them all off. Kill a few of them. Leave that area, not even by far, just leave that area like that, and then you could pick them off again. Go to this back window right here, pick them off again. Do whatever you got to do. Then once you kill enough here and you're the only person on this side of the map, your whole team is still there, get out of there. It's not worth it, all right? Or you could even come right here if you really want. If you're really daring, you could come right here as well, but they're going to all be running out of here as well. They'll see you and stuff, but anyways, yeah, I just wanted to share these tips with you guys. Hopefully I could help you guys be a little bit better at the game, hopefully all that kind of stuff. Like I said, man, if you guys, well, I didn't say it in this video because I wanted you guys to actually watch the video first, and if you made it this far, I would appreciate if you guys dropped a like. I don't want to ask for the like at the beginning because I want to give you guys the content before begging for a like. You know, it doesn't make sense to do it the other way around. Sub to the channel if you guys are around here with those notifications turned on. I would appreciate that as well. And let me know down in the comments below, what is the highest gun streak you've ever been on in this game? I find this game harder than the Modern Warfare series, to be honest. The skill-based matchmaking might be a little too strong, but it is what it is. Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Nick, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.